We're live. This is Clint with Sweetcast. Why am I why am I live streaming on a Friday afternoon, you ask? Well, that's because I can't do it Saturday morning. I'm realizing that having a routine of streaming at the same time every week, it just seems to be impossible. It only goes for so long, and then life happens, and you got to switch things up. But I hope that's okay. So I yeah, here I am. Uh, Now I got to tell you, it's kind of funny. The more I see instances of, SJW hood like getting together, um, yeah, it's fascinating to me. So I just saw a little bit earlier today. Hey, Caffeinated Comics, good to see you. I saw earlier today there was a women's meeting. I'm trying to be vague so I don't get too specific, but a women's meeting, and they get together and they talk about basically how they can overcome oppression in the workplace from men. And this is it's an industry that's majority women. So that was really interesting. But just seeing it in action, and how silly it is, because I was realizing committees, like SJWs would love nothing more than just to make committees. Like that's the problem. That is the solution to every problem, is make a committee, and you have meetings, and you have nice fancy lunches together, and you just talk about it, and they call it work. So yeah, it's pretty funny to me, because I think, let's say in 40 years from now, right? If so, things haven't improved for 40 years. What about in 40 years from now? In 40 years, is there still going to be these committee meetings where they sit and talk about how oppressed they are and how they can correct it? Because if in 40 years they're still meeting, I'm thinking the meetings aren't working then, right? I mean, if the problem's not being solved, like, you'd have to agree at some point, mission accomplished, it's done. Then what's the point of a meeting, right? And obviously, you and we all know that it has more to do with ideology than reality, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, so it's good to see people here. We got Caffeinated Comics. We got Neela Possessed. Wow, you are on time for sure. Comics Villain. Great to see you. Eric Weathers, of course. Really great to see you. Yowza Comics. Rasman. John R. Carter. Husky Lover. I love that. Says, hey, Clint, first time replying. A big fan and can't wait for your comic to be done. Definitely going to buy it for sure. Hey, thank you, John. I really appreciate that. I'm getting pretty excited for Downcast. I have like a little announcement, but I don't want to make it too soon. But I have a variant cover that's being worked on right now, and it'll probably be done soonish. I'll say that. So I'm pretty excited, but I don't know. We'll see. I'll think about telling you guys. It's official. It's happening. It's just I don't have anything to show you just yet. I am going to be inviting Time Code Mechanics in to talk about his book that is on Indiegogo. So that'll be great to talk to him. He's always fun to talk to. We have Captain Cummings. Welcome. Let's see. A lot of that has to do with the bureaucracy. Ideology is a big part, but groups never want to give up power. Yeah, I totally agree. The bureaucracy is maddening, but yeah, it's just like you're sitting there pampering yourselves, talking about how oppressed you are. Um, doesn't really make actual lot of sense, but what do I know? I'm a white straight man, so there you go. All right, I'm going to send a link into Time Code Mechanics just so that he's ready. Get him in first, and I'll probably, we'll make a party out of it and invite a whole bunch of people. So that will be good. Eric Breen, great to see you. Always love seeing your comments in videos. Always fun. Let's see. Comics Villain says, what are your price points that you are considering, if you're able to say, that is, for the book? I have been thinking about this. I need to figure out shipping costs and how I'm going to do that. Let's say sidestepping shipping. I think just based off the other campaigns, for 48-page full color book, we're talking like $15, and that seems like what's normal out there. So yeah, I'm trying to be it's hard because you can't have the ideal price point really is $25. That's what you want people to spend. And so I'm going to make sure that I have a really tempting $25 tier that I want people to get in on. But technically the book, like I'm not going to charge $25 for a 48-page book. And though there will be stretch goals. So I actually am hoping that we can make it longer than 48 pages. So I hope that answers your question. Still kind of in the process there though. Hello, welcome.
Hey,
Great to see you.
how's it going?
Oh, I'm doing good. It's kind of nice to be streaming at a
Oh,
slightly different time of day than I'm used to.
hold
So,
on just a second. I I, I got I got I got my there we go. I was streaming this and I was hearing the echo.
oh, well, it sound okay
There
now?
we go.
All right, cool.
Yes.
Great to see you here. I'm getting
It's
some.
always technical difficulties.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, no, this will be, take your time. We're just going to hang out. And I am getting some questions. And I'm glad you're here because I want to ask about crowdfunding from your perspective as well. I'm getting asked, can I get a hint? I'm guessing that's on the guy that's doing. I mean, it's not a secret. I just like money has changed hands, and he's starting inking. I'll say it's somebody in Drawn and Quartered that I've been impressed with. So, well, I don't know. Maybe I'll just say it's Matthew Weldon. He's going to be doing a variant cover for me. I love Matthew Weldon's art so much. So yeah, I'm really excited. He's gonna be doing that for me. And then John R. Carter, Husky Lover, says IDC is that I don't care. The price purchase for sure 100%. I'll do $50 tier. Yeah, I think we're gonna have a good $50 tier as well. So I'm still trying to figure out the different tiers. So I'm glad that you're all in though. That's awesome. Yeah, he is great.
Yep.
Um,
Hold on
yeah.
just a second here. There we go. Okay. You were breaking up for a second.
Oh, everything sound good now?
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah, so I'm speaking of tiers. I mean, let's start out. Let's talk about your stuff so people know why you're here, and then I want to talk about DC Comics as well. But I think I'm gonna share my screen, or would you prefer to show us around?
Well, I can. I'll start from the beginning. How about that?
There you go.
I'll just do it that way. And well, basically, I have in Indiegogo that's Victor Locke, Demon Hunter, Demon Nor. It's just Victor Locke, Demon Nor for short. And basically, Victor Locke is a character that I created way back in the '90s, and he was specifically supposed to be I guess the best way I could talk about him now is to say he was like Blade. And I was working on this novel for him. I wanted him to be, have a novel, comic books, movies. And I was working on the novel. And as I was editing the novel, the Blade movie came out. A friend called me on the phone, was like, dude, you need to see this. And I'm like, okay, screw it. And around 2008 or so, I started a book called Epitaph Bread and Salt. You probably, I don't know if you know about the Epitaph books, but I started that book. I started drawing it, and I eventually had it redrawn and everything. But I made him kind of the center, kind of the focus of that book. And I've just been working with the character ever since then. And I started watching a lot of art YouTubers, and not just comic book artists, but actual YouTubers that are just doing a lot of drawing and stuff. And I got interested in the going back to the traditional method, just pen, ink, ink wash, stuff like that. And I just decided this was something I really wanted to do. And so here it is, and Comicsgate happened, and so things merged together, and here it is.
Very
So
cool. Nice. I like the comparison to Blade. Here I'm gonna Sorry. Oh, there we go. Stop sharing. um, yeah, that's really cool. So this is This is pretty new on Indiegogo. You're only asking for $2,500. That's
Yep.
always a big question. I'm still unsure of what my goal should be. I'm curious what your strategy behind $25 is, or 2,500, $25.
Well, the thing is, I did my goal. The way I have it set up is you have to meet the goal to actually fund the book. So I set a
Right.
low goal of 2,500. If you meet it, then you go and put your books out. If you get more money, the more the more the merrier. But if nothing else, I try to keep the goals low. And once you get once you meet that, everything's just in motion at that point. So I'm not the best at crowdfunding. So the one
It's
thing
hard.
about Comicsgate is it's good to have
Yeah.
help at this. I've had one thing that I won a long time ago, and that didn't really work out. Even though I won it, it didn't work out because the people I was working with kind of, they ended up not coming through. So I had to, give the people money back who who wanted money back. And I had to, I did actually fulfill some of the orders myself.
Uh,
But it was just really bad. And so I don't, one of the reasons I don't really work with people, if you notice, a lot of times I do everything myself. And that's because I don't really like to depend on other people, because a lot of times it seems like, once I get my thing done, somebody is going to mess up, and there you go. It's
yeah.
it's just over. So that's how I do it myself. I
Cool.
try to do everything myself.
Yeah, the things get compounded the more that you're working with other people. Problems are amplified, but at the same time, I guess good things can be amplified too. You just got to getting the right people is important and can be difficult.
What it's what I've always found is that everybody seems, what I've seen is that when it starts out, everybody seems to have a good idea, and everybody seems to know exactly what they're doing on paper.
Yeah.
Okay, it's like when it first starts out, everybody has their thing. We're doing this, we're doing that, we're doing this, we're doing that. And then as things go on, everybody else hasn't researched everything the way you have. So you've looked in, like I've looked into my side. I know I need these things. And
Right.
okay, I got that ready. I'm ready to go. And then after that, the other person hasn't really, you're assuming that they know what they're talking about, that they know how to do what they say they know how to do, et cetera, et cetera. And what you end up finding out is that they don't. And even outside of crowdfunding, I've seen that happen in projects where people say, well, we need you to do this, and we're going to do this over here and this and this. And I'm always kind of leery. I'm like, I don't know, dude. I don't know if I can, one
Yeah.
thing about Comicsgate is I see a lot of people in Comicsgate are actually people who know what they're doing, and they actually get it done. So that's a relief. That's a good thing to
Yeah.
see.
There, yeah, for sure. There's a shared kind of brand, whether anyone likes it or not. I mean, I think it's it's a really good thing. But being in Comicsgate, definitely, like every time, well, Jawbreakers just came out, and Graveyard Shift just came out. That makes Malin look good, but that also makes the rest of us look good. Um,
Right.
so it's really cool that being just a part of that community. Yeah, it can certainly help, especially because you can ask people. In other indie comics, I remember before, it always felt like I was going totally alone, not just like with the creative part, but with just getting your book out there and figuring out how to do things. You just feel so alone. So it's really cool having the group here. So we do have a question for you in the chat. George
Yes.
Peter Gatsis says, question for the guest: how much research have you done on props that the characters carry or interact with? Did you create original props or stuck with real world props? That's a good question.
I literally created some of his props in real life because we did when we did the Epitaph Bread and Salt film. I actually made some of his props. I made his hand bow. He has this hand bow. It's a wooden stake inside of a metal hand bow. I literally constructed that in real life, as well as there's a staff weapon that he doesn't really carry, but I have it here somewhere. But it's a bow staff that has a stake on the end of it. I have that,
Wow.
and I have the shotgun. But for me, it's just an airsoft shotgun, but I do have it around here. So I did
Cool.
actually construct those weapons.
That is intense. I've never gone to that level of yeah, I'm not yeah, okay. So for research for me, I had to do so I did a book once that was like post-apocalyptics, and I did research on like what kind of things could you eat in suburbia, but like let's say everything's dead. And so what's there a lot of dandelions. So yeah, I was doing research on dandelions, and I was like, man, I should taste one. But I couldn't bring myself to eating one out of my own backyard because I thought I was gonna die of like fertilizer poisoning or something. I don't know. So I did eat one that was like from a store. It was in packaged up, they sell it, but tastes fine, it's like lettuce. But yeah, so that's awesome that you're making props. That's really cool. It looks like we got the umbrella guy here. Hey Tug,
Hey
how's it
Tug,
going?
what's going on?
That's great. He's not in the chat, or he's in the chat rather, but not on the stream. So, but if he wants to come on the stream, he's always welcome. In fact, I think we're going to be looking at this a lot throughout the stream, but I'm going to stop sharing the screen just for a minute. I'm just going to invite some more friends because, why not?
Yeah, I've been following him on the Animagate stuff.
Oh
I've been
yeah.
keeping track of that. He's doing an excellent job. Him and Yellow Flash, like wow,
Yeah.
they're like like detectives, or like they're just getting in there. So I'm definitely keeping up with it.
Yeah, that has been really good to see. All the updates. I did a couple videos, I guess, on that situation, but there's so much to know because I don't know, I'm not super into anime, but I can see like dirty like SJW tactics,
Right.
infecting it. So like that aspect of it I can comment on, but there are some interesting just details, especially with culture, like cultural elements, I guess, with some of the touchy feely stuff. It's not as I guess out of the norm as I had once thought, I guess, if that makes
Well,
sense.
it's when you're like even when you go to those conventions, not even the anime conventions, but just comic book conventions, and all those conventions,
Yeah.
I remember well, for me it was the opposite because Cynthia Rothrock was at a convention, and that was the thing. That was going to be a hug. Okay, it's like if if she lets me hug her, I'm hugging her, and 10 years later, I'm not coming back and saying anything went wrong with that. But I was so the hugging and the if you have fans, especially in that situation where this guy has and they have videos on YouTube of him meeting his fans. I mean, they love it. They love it, and they want to
Yeah.
be there. And it's not that's creepy thing. And then have people come back later on and say, oh, now that I think about it, well, it's like, really? Like it's ridiculous. Now, again, like I said in my video, I've only done one video about this because I'm also not deep into anime. I've seen like a few I think there's at least one series that I've seen all of, but The one thing I commented on, just like you, was the SJW aspect of it, and I just kind of linked to some videos about how to fight it and what's what went on from the comics, the Comicsgate standpoint.
Sure.
It's strange to watch how once this thing starts, and in my video, I talked about how two things can be true. None of us were there. We don't know what happened. It's a possibility he could be everything they're saying, but we don't know. There's no proof of it.
Right.
And to have thing go over on the internet where that is the where the evidence is there. It's like, okay, the evidence is the accusation. It's like that, how does that even work?
Yeah. Right. That's the thing is, and it's also, it's not illegal to be a jerk. Like I've heard
Right.
stories, I've heard stories about people, I mean, even, I don't know. Yeah, different people. People don't like them. They might say they're a jerk in person. Well, I don't know. They're a celebrity. Who knows? But even if they are a jerk, is that a reason to ruin their livelihood? And I'm not saying that Vic is a jerk. I have no idea. But some people think he is. So, but is that a
Well,
reason to destroy his career?
and I'm noticing like his if he is a jerk, I'm noticing that is kind of being pushed as some form of sexual weird, like like when he jumped, he got on the guy's back, or he got on his neck, and the dude is like, yes, I was neck raped. I'm like, are you I don't know if you can, are you freaking kidding me right now? It's like,
Yeah.
are you, it's like, it's, I'm like, oh, I hope that like people are totally ignoring everything you're saying right now when you get to that. And you got the
Yeah.
the woman who did the fake swatting, and I think somebody was looking, somebody said they changed
Oh,
there was an article written about that and they changed it.
wait, the woman who did, are you talking about Alterna
There
Comics swatting?
no, there was
Oh,
uh somebody who's saying that Vic had done something to them,
oh,
and she's saying his fans swatted me, and people are like, wait a minute,
oh,
the picture of the you used that picture like 2 years ago, right? You used that picture before, and it's like
oh.
tweet just disappeared. It's like, I was
Yeah,
like, wow, really?
victimhood has become a virtue that everyone is in search of for some reason. There's a lot of I don't know, a lot of perks to becoming a victim, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But it seems to be a thing.
If
Changing the
you're
subject.
open,
Oh, I,
just real
I'm
quick, if
go
if
ahead.
you're open, if you're open to doing that kind of thing, I don't see how you could be trusted in any way, shape, or form. If you're open to doing something like that, it's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, so changing the subject just a little bit. This is the title of the video. This is what I'm going with. And there's been an update here. So I'm going to use the original article. Did you hear about this, though, that DC is cutting back? They tell, so Dan DiDio tells retailers that DC is cutting back their comics. So this is titles to lower than
Yep.
52. So
Yeah.
this is interesting. I actually think this is a responsible move by DC, but it's kind of a shots fired thing. So Dan DiDio is blaming, apparently, this retailer advocacy group meeting. Wow, I can't even read. He basically was implying that it's Marvel's fault. So they're talking about the new 22 rather than the new 52. But Marvel is still publishing 100 and something titles. I wonder if it says here. They're publishing a lot of titles. The market is saturated with garbage.
Well, this isn't the first time Marvel screwed up the market. Marvel did this back in they did this way back in the 90s. When there's do you know about the distributors, the whole distribution thing, how we got to this point with Diamond? Do you know about all that?
I just know that Diamond has a monopoly, but like how they became the only distributor. They moved away from newsstands, is my understanding. You might have a better. Understanding the
there
9-volt,
were
yeah.
there were 3 distributors, and it was Diamond. There was Capital, I believe it was called Capital or Capital City, I believe, and then there was Heroes World. Okay, so Heroes World was the Canadian distributor. So you had but they were your 3 major people. So people usually got their stuff from Diamond, they got the stuff from Capital, and the people who had the better terms for their store, that's who you went through.
Mm-hmm.
So what ended up happening was Marvel decided that they wanted to distribute their own comic books. And apparently they didn't research that very well. And so when they actually started distributing their comics for, you as you could figure, that failed. That whole thing failed. Now, what that caused was a ripple effect. If Marvel started distributing their own comics, then that means you need to do something to make sure that you get comics. So Diamond signed DC, Image, Dark Horse, and I think another one to exclusive deals.
Sure.
And that left Capital with nobody but the indies. And you can imagine what happened there. Capital and Diamond ended up merging. Heroes World was the distributor that Marvel bought. So that left only Diamond as the distributor for pretty much every comic book. And that's how that went over.
Right.
And you know what got the blame for it, though? Just they blamed Bad Girl Comics. Bad Girl Comics were the blame for that,
wow.
the decline.
Yeah. Marvel needs to take some responsibility. And we've got Caffeinated Comics. Welcome to the chat or the panel. I don't know what we're calling this. Welcome to the stream.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, I thought he was here. He was here. Chime in whenever. But yeah, this is I don't know, like how we got here. The way that I look at it is, so when the recession happened, like what, 2008, you had a lot of businesses. I actually worked for a particular business, and the guy in charge always kept complaining, and he always kept blaming it on the recession, that was the problem.
Right.
But the truth is, like, you can blame whatever happened. Speaking specifically to Marvel, you can blame whatever happened in the past, but this is what you've been dealt right now today, and you've got to deal with it. So the fact that they have so many titles that they continue to saturate the market is insane. So yeah, our stream is growing. We have I'm going to attempt this. Jean-Luc, did I say that right?
Oui, mon ami, bonjour. Hello, how are you?
Here we go. Very good. Good to see you. And Caffeinated Comics, I'm going to see if his audio is working now. Nope. Still not.
I see his icon down there.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. He'll chime in. Did you see this, Luke, about the DC is cutting their titles right now? It's a rumor exactly to what number, but they're talking about possibly between 20 and 30.
Yeah, that was devastating. I mean, shocking. And even has been talking about it, right?
Yeah, that's a massive cut. Yeah, exactly. He said it was going to happen. Once they started they I guess cut 3% of the workforce, and then now it's cutting their titles, which I think is a responsible move to make. It's really too bad that Marvel's not doing the same.
Well, they can't do the same because they would be admitting what's going on.
Right. And that's where this goes beyond. It's not about business. Isn't that so weird? This business isn't about business. It's about being right.
There is a strategy to that too, and that's the shelf space strategy. Image used to do that back in the 90s. Image pumped out. If you take a look at the stuff Image pumped out, some of it was absolute trash, and they knew it was trash, but they pumped it out to keep shelf space. So that there is a strategy there, probably saying, "Hey, we're not gonna, we're gonna do what we want because we're Disney and we can do it." But there's a strategy to shelf space as well. Keeping that shelf space for yourself, you can pretty much take over a comic book store with Marvel titles. And Marvel, DC, and Image both used to do that back in the day.
Well, I think it's a propaganda device. I mean, they can't admit it. Marvel Entertainment and Marvel Comics is in a deficit. Marvel Entertainment takes up the slack.
Yeah. Well, and
Right.
then here's I thought this was interesting from Dan DiDio. Let me know what you all think about this. He stated that DC Comics have better comic books than their rivals, and I'm talking specifically about Marvel here, because they pay their power talent higher page rates than Marvel. I don't know. What do you think? Is the quality better at DC?
No.
Well, there
Not
you go.
Batwing. Batwing is not better.
Right. They have
I don't know. I think it is actually the art and certainly the book quality itself. I mean, the whole joke. I even did a take on that about the ink coming off the page. You know, that's something you don't really see at you don't see at DC, and look better in most of their comic books.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I don't know. And that's like the book quality talent. I don't know. The thing is, it trickles down. It I think editorial is overlooked as well in both cases. I don't know. I mean, I'm glad that DC is being responsible, but Marvel's really going to just drive this thing right into the ground.
Well, they've got more money.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And so that lets them, go to the accountant and say, "Oh, Marvel Comics, let's deduct the losses."
Yeah. Muttman says, Sweetcast, do you think that Marvel believes their movie status versus the DCEU equals an ability to push the publishing market versus DC? I don't know if they did care about the movies. The thing is, if they have these massive movies, and you'd think that they would have ways to direct people back to comics if they cared about their comic industry. They don't, though. Like if you were interested in, you watched Captain America the first time and you're like, oh, that's a cool character. Oh, there's comics, but there's no like jumping on point. They don't make it easy. You know, you
because
have to go
there's
in
no connection. You see the movie,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
And you see this great Captain America, right? And then you go, oh, I want to buy that comic. And then you go and look at the comic and you say, what? Captain America's a Nazi.
Yeah, exactly. It's not the same. It's changed so much.
But I don't think they even care though. They don't have to care. Once you have the IP, and I think this is important for Comicsgate to know too. Once you have the IP, the goal is the IP. So you get that IP, and you can take that anywhere. Let's just say you just start selling merchandise from the films, the comic books, because the way I see it, and this is of course because I'm not a huge publishing company, but for me, if I produce movie or something, I do something big, the comic book becomes the merchandise. It's merchandising. I think that's the future for Marvel, that they're going to eventually just make their comic books be merchandise. It's not that they care about the comics. That they don't. Do you know how many comic book companies that Disney actually owns? Disney owns more than Marvel.
What else do they
Disney owns Marvel, CrossGen, and Malibu. The old Malibu comic book line with Prime and all those guys. They own all three of those. Marvel bought those companies up, and Disney bought Marvel. So Marvel owns that stuff. So they have
none of that matters. None of that matters
ideas,
though, because none of them make money. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but they can make it. They can make those make money. If the comic book is merchandise, you can do the comic book however you want. If they decide that, hey, you know what, we're just going to start dropping these random graphic novels, they could do that and push that. They can do whatever they want as long as they have. Now that doesn't necessarily, like you say, it doesn't necessarily mean it will make money, but they could do it. They have a lot that they can pull from.
So here's the problem. If they care about comics, well, they don't. They care about the intellectual property. That's what they care about.
Right.
So it feels like they're just strip mining the comic book industry. They don't care. DC at least has shown now just lately that they care at least a little bit. I would think. Marvel, it just seems they're just going to keep running it. They treat it just like their little special arm of Disney, they can experiment and do whatever they want, and money doesn't matter. But yeah, they care about intellectual property. Unfortunately, there are a lot of fans. I mean, Comicsgate, I think, is a symptom of this. We still care about comics.
Well, yeah, I mean, we
goes
still
beyond
care about all of these characters that we've grown up with, for decades of our lives. We don't want Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, or anything to go anywhere. We still want to have access to these comic books and these characters and the stories that they're involved in. But, the big two, they're both cognizant that there's a problem, but they're each dealing with it differently. Marvel just doesn't give a damn.
They're in denial.
And it's clear. It's super clear. They really do. I mean, you look at Joe Quesada on Twitter, and it's blatantly and painfully obvious he really doesn't care. Then you look at the other side. You look at DC, and they're aware that there's a problem, and they're kind of taking half steps, right? So what Dan DiDio, and I'm not a Dan DiDio fan, but what he said about there being too many comic books on shelves, that's correct. There's an overabundance of books, and 80% of them nobody gives a crap about. That's part of the problem. And so, they shrunk down the line to, from whatever the hell it was over 100 down to 52 again. And now they're shrinking it down again. Now, that's
between
good.
20 and 30.
Yeah, that's good. But there's still an underlying problem beyond that. And that's the stories themselves. So that's great that you have, now only whatever, we'll just say 25 titles instead of 125 titles. Great. But those 25 titles of those, they still need to have good stories that people care about.
Yeah. Well, and they're not good stewards over the intellectual property, like creatively. They're also not good stewards over the industry, which in any business, in any industry, you've got to be bringing new customers in. Even like, I don't know, you think of simple stuff like a company like Johnson & Johnson, their marketing, and I realize they're selling like toilet paper and baby powder, stuff like that.
Okay.
But it's the same thing. You're inserting yourself into the market. You're being there. You're accessible to people. There's a reason why they're a household name. Marvel and DC are household names, but not because of their comic books. They've made it so difficult for people to get into comics, for kids to get into comics, even just to jump in. Like now for me, it's been quite a while since I've read Marvel or DC. If I wanted to jump in, I mean, where would I even start? I have no desire to, but they don't make it easy.
Movie. You'd start at the new movie, Endgame. That's where you'd start. And they don't have a problem. Marvel doesn't have a problem. They're making more money on the movies.
Yep.
Is merch still merch when you can't sell it? It's not merchandise anymore, but you can sell a ticket.
Disney and Lucasfilm.
Yeah, but you can sell the ticket to a Marvel comic. Well, I'm talking specifically about, the Marvel movies.
Yeah. And they make so much money for them. Yeah, again, they don't care about comics, but we do. Like I think, man, what could I do if I had the Spider-Man? If I had the rights to do Spider-Man, what would I do? That would be pretty amazing.
Well, they might give it to you. Spencer is right now.
That'll never happen. George Peter Gatsis, I hope I say that right, says DC doesn't care. They can't keep up with Marvel, so they are retooling themselves to be like Marvel with less titles, huh?
See, I don't entirely agree with that. I think that when DC back in 2016 did their Rebirth relaunch, I think that showed an acute attention to the fans and what they knew and had probably known the entire time fans wanted out of their characters, and they were starting to make big leaps back towards what longtime DC Universe fans desired from their books. But sometime between then and now, they've taken steps backwards, and that it's when you bring in guys like Tom King, who doesn't know how to write any character other than himself, and guys like Bendis, who make iconic characters just so one-dimensional and boring, or the flip side of that, make characters that are supposed to be, symbols of hope and, just inspiring characters. Just there's this obsession with everything has to be like an Alan Moore knockoff. right? Where,
Yeah.
everybody wants to be Alan Moore. Everyone wants to write Watchmen, or everyone wants to write, the
and
Dark
they
Knight Returns. And every single character just gets reduced down to this like grungy, unhappy, shell of the icon that they were. And people don't want to read that. And on one-offs,
propaganda.
sure.
It's propaganda, right?
It's pure propaganda. Everything that they're doing right. I mean, even from the books to this Captain Marvel film that they're doing, it's just, hey, let's. I mean, even the marketing and stuff that they're doing. Somebody did a video I saw today about why Marvel won't like put the kibosh on the Brie Larson thing. Why won't they pull her in the room and say, hey, shut the hell up. You're making this bad. This is not going to happen. And it's a thing of, I think that they're very much okay with that movie failing. They don't want it to fail, but if it does, or if it doesn't meet it'll probably make money. But if it doesn't meet that expectation,
Marvel movie, it would make money.
Yeah, it'll make money. If it doesn't meet that expectation, they can just say those evil men won't come see that woman, and people will fall for it every time because people aren't the sharpest tools in the shed.
Well, so this is the Sandcastle Effect, right? So they've spent all the time building this beautiful sandcastle that is the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and then once they have it built, they've done all the hard work with just good storytelling. Then you have blue-haired feminists climb on top of it and just squish it. Right? They're trying to use that success as a stepping stool.
That's a scary picture.
It's terrible. How does the sandcastle stay up?
It doesn't.
How did the blue-haired woman crawl on top of it?
It doesn't.
We got Rhythmus sitting on top of it.
Yeah, it squashes, and
Gail Simone.
That's think modern Marvel comics, right? It's squished. It's right now. It's beneath a blue-haired feminist.
Youch.
Yeah.
Dead.
So I don't know. This is interesting. It's always nice to keep an eye on things, and it is really, really cool though to see that. I mean, like Ethan called a lot of this. A lot of comic skaters have been saying this is the year there are going to be big changes, and these are the first signs, I think, of the industry responding to the inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to remind everyone now that we've been chatting for a little while that we have Nathan Brendan Masters, right? I hope I'm saying that correctly. He's got a book right now on Indiegogo. Let me share my screen real quick again. I'm trying to get better at promoting books here. There, we're sharing the screen. Here it is. And it's kind of Blade-esque, we'll say. I'm just going to refresh it. I'm just curious. Let's see.
It's
not yet. Yeah.
The way I like to describe it, I like to describe it like it's Blade, but more. It's like Blade meets Buffy meets Constantine. It's more of. It's kind of that. It's got that whole. That universe, that underbelly. Like, okay, there's for this book, there's Chicago, and then there's what you see. There's like that underbelly of Chicago. There's a whole supernatural community in Chicago that nobody knows anything about. It's like your average person walking down the street, they know nothing about it. So you might have, let's just say you have an occult bookstore, right? So average person just goes, okay, that's an occult bookstore. Maybe you'll meet some weird person there that's, ooh, I can do magic or whatever. But that weird person in the back that just kind of, they're like, they're always there, whatever. They know real magic. They know something real. And later on that evening, they're going to meet with their vampire pal, or they're going to meet with some, and they're going to go and they're going to do things. And those things may or may not be bad things. And so that's kind of what this is. And, there's also, we're leaning from the Epitaph Bread and Salt. We're pulling from that too. So we're still doing the stuff with the cults. So there's the Sisterhood of Lilith and the Rise of Magic, and the other cults and stuff. They pop up. Dracula pops up. Lady Bathory pops up. A lot of people pop up in Victor Locke, Demon Hunter, and
cool.
This particular book, we start seeing Dracula get ready to do his thing.
Yeah, that's great. If you're interested in it, I put the link in the description below. Check it out. I think it's worth looking at.
And this is all ink wash. It's ink wash with a little bit of computer, a little bit of digital stuff, but most of that stuff is ink wash. I went in and you could see some of my live streams. I went in with a brush and ink, and just went at it, just got in there.
Yeah. Here we got Berserker Pride. It says, did you see the 50-minute live stream of Captain Marvel's cat? Is this real?
The cat is the star of the movie.
Yeah.
Apparently.
What is it with Marvel and cats? I can't get past this.
Do you really want to know?
That's what
Yeah.
Because I know, but you might not want to know.
Oh man. I have to know now.
Are you sure?
You keep building up the tension, man.
Yeah. I gotta know.
Let me hear what Gene is gonna say. Let me hear what he's gonna say. I have my opinion on that, but let me hear what he's gonna say. I think we might be going through the same thing.
Let's see.
Well, you must prepare yourself, because this is going to be something that might stay with you for a while. It's kind of gruesome.
Oh,
and they even validated the reality of this by putting it in a book.
Okay.
You'll probably remember. It has to do with
drumroll.
Toxoplasmosis.
Toxoplasmosis. I
Do
don't
you
even
know
know
what that is?
I have no idea.
That's a $5 word, sir.
Yeah,
that's a $10 word.
This is a $2 stream, by the way.
I only bought $1.50 and change, and I took the bus. So,
right.
Yeah. Well, toxoplasmosis is a very strange parasite that cats give off in the. I don't want to get dirty.
The nethers. Yeah.
Yeah, give off in the nethers. And this gets on your hands. You put your hand in your mouth or your face, and you have toxoplasmosis. And these are parasites that burrow into the brain. I'm not making this up.
Oh, you can get those from snails, can't you? I've heard of this.
Yeah, you can get it from several things. And but cats primarily, especially SJWs who live with multiple cats, many cats everywhere, and majority of them have toxoplasmosis. And there's a lot of articles, you can look it up.
Jeez.
It controls your mind.
Well, and they've been doing this for lately. People have been talking about it, but I actually have. This was back when, let's see, Superior Spider-Man. I have a cat variant of one of the books because that's all they had at the comic store, and I was trying to collect the whole set. And now I don't even know what to do with the whole thing. But they've done it before.
They have a fascination with cats, and that's what the parasite does. It creates this fascination with it because it wants you to get more of the parasite. It's not pretty.
It's almost like a zombie thing then, right? Because you got to convince others to like cats, therefore the parasite can spread.
Exactly.
Wow.
And with that being said, I'm going to build on top of that, because I was going to say that is the audience that they're going for now. They're going for the cat lady.
There it is.
They're going for they're going for the
parasite
woman who's sitting up there. She's got her cat. She doesn't want a man. She's doing her thing. And here's the superhero movie that I'm not going to see, but I'm happy that it's here. And that's the audience now.
Is there a community, the Parasite community?
Well, it's even more than that. It's not that's the audience now. That's the audience that they wish they had. But the fact of the matter is, those are people that don't buy comic books to begin with. They're making these books for an audience that doesn't exist, or an audience that has no desire to give their money to them because they're too busy, paying for cat litter.
How much do you think this is it's the middle finger to the comic fans?
It's a big middle finger.
Yeah. So it's not just like, hey, we think this is cool, but it's like, hey, do you want to know what will make fanboys cry? Do you know what I mean? It really feels like they do stuff like that. I've got to wonder.
Well, they have an agenda. They have an agenda where they want mediocrity to be supreme. So if you're a fanboy and you like Superman and Batman to be Superman and Batman, and cat women or cat people or zombies are making the comics, don't they want to elevate? Yeah, the parasite community. Don't they want to elevate the parasites?
I mean, yeah.
So that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's because if you look at the people who are making the material, they have a strong distaste for the people who buy the material. This is the very first time. You know what? I'll say this. There's a possibility that behind the scenes, that's always been kind of a thing. But the people making the entertainment, the artists and the writers and the people like that, they've always, that's why they were there, is they loved comics. Nowadays, the writers and artists don't necessarily love it. They're there to use it for what they want to use it for, and that's it. And when you say something about it, Zach talked about this today. It's like you can't talk about it. Criticism is illegal now. You say something about it, then you are a problem, and they need to get rid of you. So right. That's the thing.
Well, yeah, and it's kind of interesting to see the criticism go the other way. I'm slightly changing subject here. This has been talked about a lot, but I'm thinking of John Malin and the thumb. You guys hear about the thumb? I want to get a picture of that thumb.
It's the hand. It's the hand and the thumb, isn't it?
Yeah, they were bitching about the whole. They're going to find anything to complain about. Yeah. And honestly, if they had ever opened a modern comic book from I don't know, Marvel or DC in a lot of cases, they shouldn't be complaining about Malin's art. They should be complaining about a lot of other art.
The thing is, on my honest opinion, I'm unfortunately, I'm considering going to eBay to see if I can pick one up. I don't have Jawbreakers. I had no idea it was happening until after it happened.
Missed the boat.
I did. I feel bad about that. But the pages that I've seen for John, I think John Malin outdid himself. All the pages I saw from Jawbreakers were seriously A-level artwork.
What I've seen, it's fantastic.
Yeah,
I
love Malin's work.
I have the book. I'm looking at it right now. Everything in this book is beautiful for what it is. Like when the 90s stuff, it looks like 90s art. It looks it's dynamic, it's wild, it's just great. The 80s stuff, it looks like 80s stuff. I mean, the amount of thought that was put into this book, he did what he said he was going to do. And that's
the point is who is criticizing Malin? That's the point.
Yeah. So the thing is, okay. Well, yeah, it was Eric Larson. I think he blocked me now. I don't think I can get into him.
Of all people,
Eric Larson.
I think that's a little jealousy. I mean, how many copies is Eric Larson selling right now?
I've never been a fan of Eric Larson, ever. I've never read a single issue of Savage Dragon. I think he's got me blocked. I can't even.
Congratulations! I had the beg for my blocking.
Man, everyone blocks me now. It's crazy.
Yeah, you're big in Comicsgate now. Apparently, you're a big Comicsgate guy.
That's all it takes. Well, that's the thing is, you can be some dude, and this is how diversity in comics started up. It's just some guy reviewing comic books that are in his car, But that was a big enough threat to the comic industry that they, tried to stamp it out. But I mean, yeah, it's nuts. Small potatoes. It doesn't matter. Let's see. Muttman has an opinion. He says the whole thing with Eric Larson criticizing is ridiculous. Malin exposed him for the degenerate he is, disgusting person. Yeah, he is. And again, I think it's okay to criticize art that you don't like. The thing is, it wasn't. It was maybe he had if he would have said, "I don't like the style of art." Okay, that's fine. But
what they're really saying is, "I don't like you."
Exactly. Right.
No, what they're really saying is professional courtesy is gone.
Yeah.
That's the underlying issue. That's out the window.
Eric Breen says #block Sweetcast. Yeah, let's get that one trending.
Let's get that one going.
Let's get that one trending. Man of Action says kick Sweetcast. That would be probably not a super interesting stream. Can you kick yourself when you're running the stream?
That only works with Nasser.
Yeah, let's see. Midnight Images says, tell them to look at Hogarth's drawing dynamic hands and then talk to me. Hogarth, I'm so sorry. It's a staple, and Malin's hands look like it's out of the book. Yeah, I actually did see that comparison online, and you're absolutely right. The other thing is it's it's storytelling. I'm having the hardest time finding the picture of this thumb. Gosh. But it absolutely is storytelling, because the guy is he's super skinny. He's got like no fat on him.
It looks like freaking Gollum.
Yeah, he looks gaunt. And so for you to recognize that, to know that just from an image of a hand, that's actually good storytelling, which is, it supersedes realism. Like, the goal in comics is not to draw the best realistic thing you can. It's to stylize it. That's the beauty of comics.
Yeah, stylize it for the purpose of the story.
Right. So otherwise you would watch movies, I guess. Even then, movies would have to be way toned down to be realistic, or you just look at photographs and we look at those. But that's not, that's not the same thing. So I don't know. And Eric Larson knows this.
Well, I think the book it's meant to be a product of the time that inspired it. It is very much, at least from the bits that I've seen, very much inspired by 90s. And Malin's work is very much a late 90s style when it comes to comic books, and it is exaggerated. Not maybe Joe Madureira type of exaggerated proportions and things like that, but he puts emphasis on certain things to tell you something about that character.
Right. Yeah, that's that's how it goes. Especially today, in today's day and age, stylized art, there can be a range. You don't have to like all of it. That doesn't mean it's bad art necessarily, though there is some really bad art out there.
Oh, there's plenty out there. Yeah, sure.
Right. I find this super interesting.
I think it's important to recognize, Malin's doing a very particular style. And as you said, it's very specific to the character. It's storytelling. It's well done. And when you have Larson doing borderline pedo porn books, it's really not within his province to be criticizing anyone.
Right.
Yeah, your high horse isn't that high up, buddy.
It's pretty low.
Yeah, that's disturbing.
Yeah, his stuff it was gross. Luke, I was on your stream just last night. It's seriously it's so gross. I don't see the joy in it or the humor. Maybe there's something else in the context that I'm missing. I don't think so.
We couldn't even look at it. I mean, we tried to look at it and it was like, no. And so he's comparing something that's beautiful art from Malin, and you're like, oh, this is a lavish page, compared to something that we can't look at.
Right. Here's the thing too. Oh, here we go. Here, I'm going to share my screen.
Oh no.
Here we go. I've got this is what Eric Larson had. There we go.
Oh.
This page right here at the eyeball, and he's criticizing the storytelling. He does not have me blocked. I spelled his name wrong. So how's that?
You're lucky.
I'll comment on this, and he'll block me, I'm sure. So he had a problem with the storytelling between this and this. Okay. So objectively speaking, what is going on here between these two panels? Is this readable?
Eyeball falls on him and rolls down the hill.
That's what I saw too. But he had complaints about that. I guess what is happening in this panel?
It's literally there's an actual action line and everything that whatever.
It's a splurt.
Time code. You're very excited.
Yeah. So
that's just Eric Larson looked at this and said, "That's some dope art," and I'm pissed off because that's not even a complaint. This is very clear of what's happening here. So I don't know if he's being facetious or what, because it's extremely clear what's happening here. Eye drops, you can follow it, and then it has an action line and everything. You can follow the whole pen. Okay, that's bullshit. That's bullcrap.
Yeah, it's
monetized.
I gotta get monetized before I can get.
Yeah, there's another step that comes before that.
Right. Oh, forget about that. YouTube is going to slander all of us before we ever get to monetization.
Yeah, here is the hand. It's because SJW Spider-Man posted it. So I honestly I looked at this. Yeah, SJW Spider-Man, our favorite web. He's not even a web slinger. I don't know what he is. Just a troll.
Soy slinger. Soy slinger.
Oh, there you are. There you are. Soy slinger.
Soy slinger. It gets a little stringy when it's old, so that soy it's fibrous. Yeah, honestly, this picture, I looked at it and I was like, wow.
Isn't that cool?
The colors, I missed who the colorist is on this.
And that whole page is beautiful. That whole page is beautiful.
Yeah, it really looks fantastic. And if you're seeing, look at this guy, look at the hand. I saw it all. I mean, if you're familiar with Malin's art style, you can see tendons and, again, this is definitely 90 influence style. I totally agree with that. But that's a stylistic choice. It's not that he can't draw. He's choosing to draw it like this. But this hand, I think, does have a lot of good storytelling. It looks gaunt. Look at that. Look at that hand.
Looks gaunt and broken. I mean, in the sense that, you age and your fingers become brittle and contorted. It's beautiful. It's really an elegant page. It's like a montage effect.
Yeah, I like it quite a bit. I saw this, I was like, wow, that's impressive. So I got to hope that SJW Spider-Man, when he, inevitably buys a copy of my book, I hope he starts sharing it so people can see, because
it did wonders for Cyberfrog.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I'm wondering if maybe SJW Spider-Man is actually secretly Comicsgate, because it's like he shows like some of the best art and then says, this is bad art. You're like,
right? It's really? Like, dude, you're free marketing for me right now.
Okay,
it's crazy.
Let's play a little game. SJW Spider-Man, let's pretend he really is Comicsgate. He's somebody within Comicsgate that we know. Who would do it? NASA.
Mike. No, Mike.
You think he's Mike? No,
Mike.
No.
Yeah,
Troll.
That's another good one.
Mike can do some next level trolls.
That would be some next level trolling.
No, I think it's NASA expressing himself.
True feelings. Berserker Pride says it's EVS. Wouldn't that be?
Ooh.
The sock puppet account to troll yourself for the money. That would be so much. That'd be so much
work. He doesn't
work.
have that kind of free time on his hands. He's too busy drawing frogs.
I know.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
And looking at the detail in his work, my God, he doesn't have the time to do anything. Every time he sends out a tweet, I'm like, oh man, he decided to take a 30-minute break.
I swear, SJW Spider-Man is 3 people just sharing an account. Because how? I can't even. How on earth could you always be working? He's editing videos and taking screenshots and writing tweets and all sorts of stuff all day long.
He's 3 parasitical women at the same time.
Splendopia says it's Jussie Smollett.
Oh God.
Okay, I think we've hit it. Yeah, definitely.
You won. Yeah, Splendopia, you
win the internet today.
Yep, you win. That's awesome. Nasser split personality. That could be a good story. You could have somebody that's on 2 sides, or we could do a Romeo and Juliet story.
Well, Midnight Images in the chat says that they were going to say it's NASA as well.
Yeah. Well, there are a lot of NASA votes. Maybe we'll have to. I don't know. We'll have to run that by.
I think it might be more projection than anything. I think people just want it to be NASA, like really badly.
Zach's dog Luna is infamous in a wig. Wake up, sheeple. I love that. Yeah, so funny. That would be some next level stuff. And in fact, it would be really hard to pull off, especially if we're bringing up Jussie. That's literally, if you think about
Jussie.
Jussie. That's exactly what he tried to do, right? Trying to get a fake troll against him, but in real life.
Right. Trying to get some juice.
It didn't work. Yeah.
Fought the law, and the law won.
Right.
It's a lot easier to do online. A lot easier to do online.
We have Donald Delay in the chat. He said it was me all along. I knew it, Donald. And Donald, if you're not busy, I think you have the link too, if you're interested in jumping in. Adam AF says, if you say a Romeo and Juliet story where they're the same person, there you go. Somebody's catfishing themselves in Comicsgate. That would be a time. There'd be a tale as old as time. something super romantic. There we go. Just to remind everyone, we're here to celebrate the fact that a Victor Locke Demon Hunter, did I say it right, is on Indiegogo. And so if you're interested in it, I'm going to just drop the link one more time in the chat here. Here we go. Promise I'm not a boomer. Boom, there we go. That's what we're here to celebrate. We're having a little bit of fun as well. But yeah, if you want to go check that out, that would be quite awesome.
And at the $25 tier, you will actually get 2 books. You'll get Victor Locke Demon Hunter, the very first issue of Victor Locke Demon Hunter, and you'll get the Demon Noir book. So you'll get both of those books, and you'll kind of get and like, you know, Zombie Girl pops up and all those people. If you've ever seen the movie or you know anything about the Night Fiend Express universe, those people will be making their appearances in the book.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to pull I'm trying to do a DC. So I'm only so many books are going to be published at one time. So I'm trying to, you know, condense all of that, and a lot of the big stuff that I plan on, I'll probably start doing that based around the crowdfunding, depending on how well it goes and everything. So that's what I'm looking at in the future.
Very cool. We have Ben Henderson. He's in the chat too. Welcome, Ben. Ben, I need to have you on a live stream sometime. That would be fun, I think. But he
was a lot of fun on mine.
Oh, did you have him on your stream? That's awesome.
Oh yeah, I had Ben and I had Mike Barron. They were fantastic.
Very cool. Yeah, I got to get him on. He's a nice guy. We've talked a little bit on Twitter, but
he's a great guest. He's very rambunctious.
Yeah, and he says he's only here to catfish Donald. So, well, there you go. And then
at least he makes his intentions clear.
He says
this better not be porn as well.
There it is.
Oh, Iwazaru. I say that wrong, but the rule is when you say a name on a live stream, it's always correct. So that's what it is. It says 2 black trans lesbians beat me up, poured soy milk on my face, and yelled Antifa country. Please donate to my Patreon. Yes, everyone, that's really why we're here. This is a heinous, not even an allegation. This is truth. So we will
I was going to read that one for you, but I was afraid you didn't want me to say trans lesbians.
No, you can say what. Here's my thing. You can say whatever you want. I personally don't. I have an aversion to swearing, so I don't swear. So as long as you guys are cool with that, then yeah,
I'm cool.
Yeah, express yourself.
John Luke.
Yes,
I did shoot my Indicron thing over to you. So
your thing. No dick pics. No dick pics.
He's not Mike S. Miller. We're not sending him. We're not sending him those.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Mike.
Hey, Mike. Check this out.
I'm going to have to set a precedent right here and let it be known. Indicron will accept no dick pics.
It will not be posted. It will
no matter how stellar.
Now, hold on here. Hold on. What if it was done by John Malin?
Still.
Yeah, that's too far.
That's gonna get clipped.
There we go. Gonna be famous. That reminds me, I unblocked Remfamous because she was posting stuff about this was Jawbreakers, I think, or was it Graveyard Shift? I don't know. It's John Malin stuff. And so I just unblocked her so I could get in there and just post, hey, wow, this looks great. You know, because I want to make a habit of that every time somebody rips on a Comicsgate book for honestly an unfounded reason. I just want to be like, hey, that's great, and post a link. This looks fantastic, you know. And she didn't have anything mean to say to me. She did say, oh, you unblocked me just for this, huh? I was like, yep, did you miss me? You know, so who knows? I think she's starting to like me.
And she says that to me every time I go on one of her timelines as well. She's like, oh, look who's back. I'm like,
I think that
No. Put them back on. Put them back on.
Well, I was hoping for a dick pic, you know.
Oh, from her?
Yeah, trans lesbian.
Phase 787. You're at work? I'm at work. I literally LOL'd. I'll have to listen to this later. Well, that's good. The lulls at work.
Well, man, whatever gets you through the grind.
I know. Of all the places, man. My live streams. I thank you everybody for watching. This has been great. My live streams, I think the past 2 weeks have grown so much. I think we had it's over 100 people, so that's always great. We had over 200 people last week, so that was
everyone's here just to see Jean.
For Jean. Yeah.
Jean.
They're all here to see you.
Well, that's very nice of them. You know, when I came to America, they started calling me John, and I said, I'm not a lavatory.
There's also no O in your name.
Are you
right? There's no O.
That would be the more obvious thing to me.
Absolutely.
So I'm curious to ask about that. That's interesting. Are you on the Pacific Coast? Can I ask that much without doxing you?
You know, around there.
Okay.
Somewhere in between the East and West Coast.
There we go. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's interesting. Immigrating would be, I don't know. I imagine lots of stories. I don't know. Just the adjustments would be really interesting, I'm sure.
Yeah, I still can't tell the difference between Pacific and Eastern time.
This is a pretty big difference, right? It's like 4 hours.
Yeah, but I keep forgetting where I am.
Yeah. Yep. I'm Mountain Time, and it seems like nobody goes by Mountain Time. So, however, I actually reached out to Jason Brubaker, and we talked a little bit online, and he agreed to do an interview. We're just trying to work out a time, but he uses Mountain Time because he's in Idaho. So it's pretty cool to have another Mountain Timer.
I think Mountain Time is the
most confusing time.
Yeah, it's very confusing, Mountain Time. It reminds me of like Billy Goat Time or something like that. I keep thinking about it.
Same thing.
Yeah, I had a guest on a couple months ago, and she's like, "Wait, you're in Mountain Time? You're in the Rocky Mountains? How do you get access to grocery stores and stuff?" Did I tell the story already? Yep. Yeah, I'm like, well,
and that's when I said he has to go hunt his own deer.
That's right. I did tell a story.
You have to hunt for your own Wi-Fi.
Yeah. They have comic stores there. Yeah, they do. But they don't sell well. They're all going out of business too. So rest assured.
That's just emblematic of the industry as a whole.
Right.
I like that word.
Emblematic.
Yeah, it reminds me of the Doctor.
Oh yeah. The Doctor is a smart guy.
He's a smart guy.
Smart guy. Yeah. Indicron. Let's take a look at Indicron while we've got you here too. I'm going to pull it up.
Pull out my Indicron.
Let's get there. You want to get to your creator profile here? Let me share my screen so everyone can see me get there too, because the journey is, whatever they say about the journey. Oh, wrong one. Hold on. That was whatever was open. Here we go. Indicron creators. There we go. Creators. You guys still there?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, it was so quiet. I was like getting worried for a minute there. Let's see. Where are you? Scrolling down. There we go.
Parasites kicked me from
Jean-Luc. There we go. Shaken, not stirred.
I had to do this in a rush.
Love it.
Between doing everyone else's.
Man, I don't know how you're working on 4 books. What's the timeline? How do you... Yeah.
When do you sleep?
I'm in trouble. Someone needs to help me.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Are you under duress?
I feel stressed. Look at my
Blink
face.
Twice.
Shed a tear if you're in pain.
Yeah, 4 books is that's crazy. I think
the Doctor is going to I'm helping the doctor because he's me mate. So
Yeah.
but I think he's going to get another artist. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, that would make sense. You only have 2 hands, and I'm assuming you only draw with one of those hands. So
I have a very big pencil.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Hey, Mike. Mike.
Hey, Mike, look at this pencil.
Hey, Mike, you don't want to see my pencil?
Oh man, here's Downcast. Let's look at it. I gotta look at my own book here, guys. So I spilled the beans.
Shameless plug.
Matthew Weldon is doing my my variant cover, and I have a layout for it, and it's cool. I'm really excited. He's inking it. So
that's
I gotta
cost some dollars.
It's worth it. We'll say that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, it's worth it. And I'm actually going to be getting.
Got to spend money to make money.
Yeah. Especially that's something you don't want to spare any expense on. I asked about variant covers, and people were like, "Yeah, do a variant cover." Most people want at least the option to get a variant cover, and this one's going to be really cool, especially because it gives you another tier to go for. Like you got to have some tiers. It's not just a book you're crowdfunding. So
when are you going to have more pages?
That's the question. Yeah, so Nacho is finishing up another project, and so that's why we've had a little bit of a delay. So he's finishing. Yeah, he's finishing it up, but I sent him an email earlier today. I don't know. I'm hoping I will have some sequentials, but we still need to work through some like story detail. I need to make sure they're perfect, and then I'll show them. Rather than this cover, I think I showed it so many times with different iterations.
Well, you can expand. A lot of people don't do this on Indicron, so it's a good thing. Go up to the top orange. Yeah, it's a little lower. No.
Oh, yeah, that's right here.
There you go. Yeah, expand that because it's so tiny, right?
Yeah, it looks nice.
So, yeah, see, that looks a lot better when you're showing it. Now you've got a second piece to show.
Right. Yeah, and I guess I could put some more stuff in here. The problem is it's like they're just sketches, the other stuff I have, and so people are like, "What?"
People love sketches, man. They love to see the process.
That's why sketch covers are such a big deal.
Yep.
Yeah, they're cool. Yeah, this is another reason why I need to draw. Yeah, you think I should put sketches up?
Absolutely. Yeah, the more you can put up, the better, man. This is your pre-campaign, right?
Yeah, it's true.
You want to give people a picture, so to speak, of what your project might look like when it's finished, so that they have a clearer idea of like, oh yeah, I really dig how this looks. I want to see more.
Not when it's finished. I mean, in the process. If you look at mine, I put up a bunch of sketches from like a year ago, and they're fine. They give a really good idea. I mean, I draw a lot differently now after a year, but I think it's very useful for a campaign.
Sorry, changing the subject again. Chaotic Flux. This looks really cool.
Yeah, it's got a real Romita vibe, doesn't it?
Scott Payne. I don't know any of these guys.
That reminds me of Robotech for some reason. I saw that the other day. I was like, this looks like old school Robotech.
The font for the logo looks very much like Robotech's. It gives a Robotech vibe.
This is like this robot here reminds you're maybe okay. I might be a little bit younger than you guys. Beast Wars Transformers.
I watched Beast Wars.
I watched it as an adult, and the animation sucks, but it's still good. Like good writing. It's still good. I'm like, I want to.
It still holds up.
It does, except for I wish they could reanimate it, but this is what that reminds me of. Beast Wars. That's really cool. Look at that. I need to talk to these guys. People in the chat. Or I don't know any of them, but this looks like a really good book.
It looks well put together.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. How do I get out of this thing?
just click anywhere. Just click. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I know it's really complicated.
Yeah.
Just click anywhere.
Click anywhere. Scott Payne, Brian Belondo. I hope I said that right. And colors Brian Arthur Magnet. Wow. Okay. Brian,
serious question.
You're really
Brian
good at names.
Scott, I know. Well, how would you say that?
Why is it so much more difficult to say names online, on a stream?
I'm glad I'm not alone there. I don't know if it's like I know I'm going to offend somebody. It's like saying Vic Mignogna. I have no idea how to say his name properly. I mean, I'm just going to look at the chat here.
I just call him Vic. I've just gotten down to Vic. I was leaving it at that. But it's like, Vic, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, me too. But
I mean, Rosaru says Beast Wars CG doesn't hold up at all, but I was invested in the story.
Beast Wars doesn't hold up at all, huh?
That's what they're saying. Yeah.
Oh, the CG
certainly
does.
The
CG. Yes, I absolutely agree. The CG sucks, but the story's good. Like I really want to write Beast Wars. I don't know how to make that happen, but I think it'd be fun. Yeah, I think IDW would probably.
You have to go over to IDW.
Yeah. Huh. It's a sinking ship over there. I'm not sure.
Or make a lot of money and buy the rights to that.
Yeah. Oh man, that would be expensive because you're really dealing with Transformers rights, is what you're doing.
Yep. Which I think you'll also get GoBots in there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Hasbro owns GoBots in there. I think the way they play it is like GoBots are Transformers from another dimension or something, but they own both of them now, I believe.
Does everybody have to have a multiverse?
Oh well, I think I think that happened by accident because they ended up taking over that company, the company that owned GoBots, and they were like, well, we got it, so
yeah.
So I think they just decided, hey, let's work with that.
Chauncey Blakey says at the time Beast Wars CG was cutting edge with a stronger story. Yeah, I think that's true. That's probably why they had such a good stories, because for them at the time it was like, hey, look what we did for a television show. I still like it. It's still good. I think of the theme song too. I'm like, reminiscing. I think it was like 6th grade. I was a 6th grader when I'd watched that. Pretty fun. Yeah, the last writer says it's a trap. I don't know if that had to do with the name or I don't know where we're going at. Sorry, chat. I'm not trying to ignore you. Jason Black says I don't have to do anything you say, in all caps. All right. Okay. I'm down with that, wow. Jason.
I have no intention to force Jason into anything he doesn't want.
Nope. Yeah. You do whatever you want. Let's buy rights to Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse really should be becoming public domain.
Oh, it was, but they stopped it.
Yeah,
Disney went to court.
Isn't it like the second time that they've stopped it?
Yeah, it's the second time.
Yeah.
That would be the worst thing somebody could do is go, oh, that's in public domain now. Yeah, don't make that mistake. That'll
yeah.
It
would be hard for Disney for sure, but I don't know. I guess I like it when everybody lives by the same laws, even if you're not. Well, I don't know. No, if you're like total libertarian and you're like no intellectual property, then everyone would be making Mickey Mouse stories.
I want to see a high team Mickey Mouse.
I would lose my mind in that kind of environment.
Maybe he could show up in Rainbow Brute. That seems like the right place.
That's what I was thinking. Rainbow Brute versus high team Mickey Mouse.
He'd be a total Chad. He'd roll up instead of a steamboat. It would be like
a George. He'd roll up in a steamboat singing the "I'm on a boat" song is what he would do. Probably.
You could have him look. He could look like in Kingdom Hearts, that one part where Mickey Mouse turns around. He's like looking tough. I'm like, well, what the hell is this? This is tough Mickey Mouse. I've never seen this before. It's good. That was like the first. No, I don't play Kingdom Hearts for those who are about to say, "Ha ha, he plays Kingdom Hearts." I just saw it. Relax, everybody. and if I did play Kingdom Hearts, I'd be making some money on YouTube with gaming videos. But guys,
yeah.
Please.
Public domain characters. I just pulled up a list of public domain characters. I'm like, are there any of these worth taking? Because that's actually
Dracula.
Yeah,
I heard you said you wanted. Was that you said you wanted to do a Dracula book? That was you, right?
that was me because
Dracula.
I'll dox myself again. My name is actually Clint Stoker, and so Bram Stoker, if you're not familiar, wrote Dracula, and I feel like I need to write some kind of Dracula story because my last name's Stoker. I just want to put that on a book. Wouldn't that be cool?
It makes total sense. Yeah, you should do it.
Yeah, I've never been into. Although I Am Legend. Do you guys read the book I Am Legend? Those are vampires. Yeah. That's a good way to do vampires. Actually, I like
the Charleston Heston movie. That was a fantastic movie.
Yeah, and then it changed completely. Though that's an example. I watched the movie first, and with not the Charlton Heston one. I watched the Will Smith movie. And I liked the concept, and I read the book, and I was like, wow, this book's way better.
Canales is in the chat. Hail Canales. He says Clint Stoker is a pretty badass name, to be honest.
Why, thank you. Yeah, I've always liked it. People, the thing is, you can make fun of any name. You can find some way to make fun of it. But the truth is, it's a cool name. I like it.
It's a very cool name. I'm going to do a book called Female Frankenstein.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. Frankenstein's here on the list too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Female Frankenstein.
Who wouldn't buy Female Frankenstein?
This is another gender bender, huh? Like the Ghostbusters?
Definitely.
Right. Female Frankenstein. I like that.
I have Dracula, I have Frankenstein, and I was going to do Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but I haven't introduced them yet. And Frankenstein is going to be introduced when I do the Night Phoenix comic book. He's over on the science. The way my universe is set up where it's the supernatural side and the science fiction side, and they're bridged by Zombie Girl. She's the bridge between both of those universes. So Night Phoenix is on the sci-fi side. Victor Locke is on the supernatural side, and sometimes those worlds come together. And so you have like Frankenstein Industries and all those things. Yeah.
Man, I'm confused.
Warren says in the chat, books are always better than film, even if you see them film first.
Yeah, I haven't. I don't think I've seen anything that contradicts that statement yet. I'm happy to be proven wrong, but yeah, no, I think that's true.
Well, you make everything up. Like when you're reading the book, you're making it all up in your head. So it's going to be, it's going to be tailored for you.
There's something to be said too for you. You've got your character you care about, your original character, and then for like, it seems like a lot of the time when they're making a movie of it, it's more about just cashing in on the intellectual property, so there's less care taken.
Yeah,
I think that's a factor. Man, I'm looking at some of these public domain things. I don't even know what they are. You got Robin Hood.
There's a lot.
I see arson on there.
Arson? Who's arson?
Arson, a thief.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Very famous thief.
There's a lot of public domain superheroes around too that pop up from like different companies, like the Black Terror and characters like that you see around.
Yeah,
a lot of those characters are around too.
Zorro is public domain. I didn't know that. I thought that was owned by someone. Zorro, that's there's stuff there. It's been done a lot though. Just like Sherlock Holmes, I guess, has been. I think
Sherlock Holmes is in public domain.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, there's you could have so many different spins off of it. I'm like The Invisible Man. I liked that book. I wonder. I know that's public domain, but I don't know. I'm not sure what you would do to like modernize it and make it interesting. The Tramp.
Give him more power over his invisibility, I think.
There you go. Yeah, that would work. It would be like a superhero movie or a comic.
The
Wasp
you wouldn't have to
Woman.
draw him, right? He's invisible. I can't believe I said that. I'm sorry.
Hey, I could do that. You're right. That would not make for interesting reading, but it would certainly, it'd be easy to draw. That's for sure.
That would be the cash grab.
You see the word balloon pointing in random directions. Let's see.
Yeah. You would just have to know, look how angry I am right now. Oh man,
this is my angry face.
Right.
Now this is my sad face.
Yeah.
Now this is my happy face.
Ricky Tikki Tavi. Guys, we could do Ricky Tikki Tavi.
Well, they
I
say
have no idea what that is.
I'm good.
That's the mongoose that fights snakes in Ricky Tikki. You got to look it up.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, it's a mongoose.
It's under the category of literary animals.
Yeah. It's a mongoose alongside with Moby Dick. Yeah, you could do a modern Moby Dick.
No dick pics.
Hey, Mike.
It's a big white whale.
Yeah.
God.
Very cool, man. I want to look at that. That's another. I've got to look through that again sometime. That's a good source if you're writing something. Look at public domain stuff and see what's out there. Yeah, Warren JB says doesn't know Ricky Tikki Tavi, uncultured pheasant. Not even a peasant.
Peasant. Pheasant or peasant?
PH isn't pheasant.
Yeah, that's pheasant. He's calling me foul. He's calling me foul.
He says Jean's foul.
You realize that's a step below peasant, so that's even worse.
Yeah, I'm what the peasants eat.
Yeah. The Invisible Man is a pervert that keeps getting caught. Oh man, chat. This would be a fun stream to do sometime is let's just come up with story like from scratch. We'll just start and have chat help. That would be kind of fun.
Oh, I'm really good at that.
That's like Mad Libs on steroids.
Ricky versus Squirrel Girl. That would be Ricky would win, no doubt. So cool. Well, I've got to wrap it up. I can hear my girls screaming in the background. Thanks for coming on, guys. This was a lot of fun. I know it was impromptu for most of you, but yeah, it's fun. We had some pretty good turnout. So thank you everyone for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, thanks for the invite, Clint.
Don't
always
forget,
ready.
There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna try to do a few more streams if I can. They're, I don't know, not always easy to work into the schedule, but I am posting in chat a link to Victor Locke Demon Hunter, so check that out. And don't forget to like, subscribe, all that jazz. And not just to Sweetcast, though I really appreciate it, but also to Timecode Mechanics, to Jean-Luc.
Thank you, sir. Jean-Luc Mizell.
Yeah, there you go.
Make it so.
Make it so number 2.
There we go. And then also Caffeinated Comic Books. That's another great one. Sarah Weaver says, Fertinize is better if you're interested. If you're ever interested, good show. Okay. Yeah, so everyone, thank you. I appreciate it. And yeah, we'll end the stream and we'll talk to you later. Have a great weekend.
Take it easy, everybody.
Adios.
Cheers.